The title for Netflix's documentary, Apocalypse in the Tropics, might be a little misleading in the imagery that it conjures up. This is a political and religious look at Brazil's government and plays out eerily close to what's also happening in the United States. The documentary takes a look at how the idea of what democracy is morphed within Brazil, especially as evangelical pastors and leaders worked incessantly to become ingrained within the political structure. There are a few senators that we see who are also identified as pastors, and typically when they're shown, they're in the midst of an enthusiastic prayer, crying out for God to take control of their government or to place whom they consider to be God's chosen one into power so that they can then reform the country's way of life to suit their ideological worldview. Now, for the majority of this documentary, we watch and hear a pastor who has risen to extreme influence within the government, and then we get to see how he interacts and guides the president. Malafaia is a wild character within this. We get to see him as he's spouting all his religiosity on TV and through the media, but we also get to watch him in more private moments. And as somebody who literally grew up in the evangelical church and was deeply ingrained in all its beliefs and practices, this dude Malafaia, he has a very warped take on what the Bible says. Now, I had to watch this in two chunks just because it really became upsetting to watch everything play out, especially as an American. While this documentary is solely examining Brazil, the game plan and the playbook, it is right in line with what the United States has been doing and is currently undergoing. Now, some of the events we watch in Brazil take place after 2021, so there we can watch the US's influence in the actions of a fervent and riled up political right within Brazil. They were unhappy with election results, felt that it was rigged, so decided to march upon the government buildings, break in, smash windows, destroy offices, crap on desks, and generally obliterate the areas in which government officials worked. Sound familiar? Well, it looked exactly like what went down on January 6th within the US. This was disgusting. Just to watch how the US exported such vulgar and troglodyte behavior, and then to have it fully embraced by the same types of mentalities within another country. What's most disturbing is how this right-wing Christian nationalist movement took hold and was wielded for political gain, all under the guise of returning the nation to its foundational beliefs. Now, I love the access that the filmmakers were allowed for this. There are interviews with Malafaia, then President Bolsonaro, and now current President Lula. Sometimes it feels as though we are eavesdropping on conversations because the camera's just allowed in the room as discussions are occurring.